Okay, today we'll be talking about contrast X-ray, and contrast X-ray is basically like a type of X-ray. Uh, the X-ray, the types you have the plain X-ray and we have the contrast X-ray. So let me just explain to you like a student to student level before we go into this lecture. Contrast X-ray is more of like you are using a contrast substance on any part of the body that you want to observe. Now, the one I know is the one for the gastrointestinal system. Now, let me tell you what I know. For the one for the gastrointestinal system, the contrast substance they use is barium. Okay, so now the laws of X-ray is bones appear white. Then anything that is a soft tissue will appear dark. Then anything that is in between being soft and hard will appear like ash or something. Okay, but using a contrast substance, you can be able to study the gastrointestinal tract, which is made up of all those intestines, which are soft tissues. Now, you can study them. Now, instead of them appearing black because they are soft tissues, they will appear white. Okay, so that's actually what contrast X-ray means. Okay, so you use a contrast substance that will invert the color. Okay, if something is supposed to show up as black, it will show up as white because of that contrasting substance. All right, so discuss contrasting X-ray. There's a high contrast, low contrast, optimum contrast. All right, see high contrast, you see everything, but optimum contrast I think is the best. All right, to make you study everything accordingly. So contrast radiography is a method of studying substances using X-rays, okay, by the administration of a special dye called a contrast medium. Okay, so before you study anything, let's say the bladder, before you study the kidneys, now because they are soft tissues and they will show up as black, you want to actually invert their color, okay, so that they'll show up as white so that you can study them. All right, so that thing which will make that possible is what we call a contrast medium or contrast substance, right? So this test allows the radiologist to evaluate structures that are not clearly evident on conventional X-ray exams or normal X-ray. Okay, so structures that on a normal X-ray would not be as clear as what you want. Now, because you have used a contrast medium, because you have used a special dye, these structures will appear very, very clear for you. All right, so going over it again, you have low contrast, we have the optimum contrast, and we have the high contrast. Okay, so intravenous urogram. Intravenous urogram. Okay, sorry, I just missed it out. All right, so types of examples of X-ray examination that you can use contrast is intravenous urogram. You want to study veins and all that. Veins are soft tissues. Of course, they will appear as dark, but you want them to appear as white, so you use a contrast. The intravenous Pyelogram still has to do with veins. Then micturating cystourethrogramRetrograde. This is you studying the ureters, the bladder, and the urethra. Okay, so all of them are soft tissues. They will appear as dark. So use a contrast medium so that they appear as white. Okay, then retrograde urethrogram is still the same thing. Not is okay, sorry, this one is anterograde. Okay, this one is retrograde. All right, so but basically all of them have to do with studying the urethra, the ureter, and the bladder. All right, so these are the examples. All right, examples of X-ray examination that you can use a contrast medium or contrast X-ray. All right, so guys, that's it about contrast X-ray. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. On the next one, we'll be talking about the plain type of X-ray, which is just plain. You don't use any additional stuff to contrast anything. All right.